The movie begins by showing a legendary Israeli soldier named Zohan. Known for his impressive superpowers and charming good looks, Zohan is a beloved figure among women and a respected member of the Israel Defense Forces. However, his idyllic life is interrupted when he is summoned to headquarters to receive a new mission. Tasked with capturing a terrorist known as Phantom, Zohan is surprised to learn that the man he had arrested just 3 months prior had been freed in a prisoner exchange. Determined to get to the bottom of the situation, Zohan sets off on a mission to Beirut, Lebanon, where Phantom is believed to be hiding. Zohan is outraged when he learns about the prisoner exchange and the fact that it was done without his knowledge. He expresses his disagreement with the commander, Jensen's plan to capture Phantom, which Zohan believes will result in many casualties. He suggests that he should be the one to capture Phantom alone and only need 2 soldiers to stand guard outside to ensure the safety of the operation. As Zohan prepares for the mission, he takes out a book about popular hairstyles by Paul Michel, revealing his secret dream of becoming a professional hairstylist in the United States. Despite his reputation as a masculine and powerful commando, Zohan is tired of the constant war and wants to pursue his passion in the world of hairstyling. Feeling discouraged by his parents' reaction to his desire to become a hairstylist, Zohan is filled with doubt and sadness. He spends the night alone, crying over his fate and the obstacles that stand in the way of his dream. The next day, Zohan sets out on his mission to capture Phantom, determined to prove his worth as a soldier and to show that he is capable of achieving his goals. He storms Phantom's base alone, using his superhuman abilities to defeat the guards with ease. He disarms the enemy, using his nose to hold the bullet, showing his great skill and strength. As he approaches his main target, Phantom, he is surprised to discover that the terrorist has the ability to stick to the ceiling like Spider-Man. In a fierce battle, Phantom escapes, but Zohan pursues him. As they face off outside, Phantom fires an RPG rocket, but Zohan is able to evade it, showing his agility and quick thinking. As Phantom makes his escape into the sea, stealing a jet ski in the process, Zohan shows his determination by giving chase and swimming after him. Instead of fighting, the two engage in a competition of strength, each trying to outdo the other. Phantom shocks Zohan by pulling out a piranha and letting it bite his neck without showing any injury. Determined not to lose, Zohan takes the piranha and places it in his underwear, letting it bite his penis. The competition takes a dangerous turn when the two begin playing ping-pong with live grenades. In a shocking turn of events, one of the grenades explodes near Zohan, leading Phantom to believe that he has killed Zohan. In a surprise twist, it turns out that Zohan has faked his own death in order to escape from the constant fighting and pursue his dream of becoming a professional hairstylist. He grabs his bag and leaves the scene, boarding a plane by sneaking into the cargo room. During the flight, Zohan meets 2 stray dogs, Scoopy and Coco, and shares his story with them, expressing his exhaustion from the constant fighting. He then proceeds to practice his hairstyling skills, using a picture from a Paul Mitchell book as inspiration to give the 2 dogs a fashionable haircut. When the plane lands, Zohan uses his tongue to open the cargo box and quickly takes a taxi to Paul Mitchell's salon in New York City. As he arrives at the salon, Zohan is in awe of the place, having only seen it before in magazines. He is now one step closer to his dream and is determined to make a name for himself in the world of hairstyling. With a new, eccentric hairstyle, Zohan enters the building where Paul Mitchell's salon is located with great confidence. He approaches the receptionist and demands to see Paul Mitchell, hoping to work with him directly. However, he soon learns that Paul Mitchell rarely visits the salon. In an effort to conceal his true identity, Zohan introduces himself as Scoopy Coco, the combined names of the 2 dogs he met on the plane. The receptionist is puzzled by Zohan's overconfidence and his outdated hairstyle, but Zohan doesn't let it discourage him. He decides to explore New York City, and while he is out, he witnesses a dispute between a businessman, a man named Mr. Driver, and a cyclist named Michael. The businessman accuses Michael of being in the wrong lane, causing the businessman's car to hit a truck. However, it is revealed that it was actually the businessman's own fault for the accident. Zohan, seeing the injustice, immediately defends Michael and confronts the businessman, using a bit of force. He then proceeds to fix the dented truck of Mr. Driver with his bare hands, showing off his superhuman strength. Michael is amazed by Zohan's power and asks where he's from. Zohan, not wanting to reveal his true identity, lies and says he's from Australia. As he is leaving the scene, Zohan spots an Arab taxi driver named Salim, whom he recognizes from his past as a commando. Fearing that Salim might recognize him and reveal that he's still alive, Zohan quickly agrees to Michael's invitation to have dinner with him and his mother, Gail. Gail, who is friendly and welcoming, invites Zohan to stay with them for a while, as he hasn't found a job yet. As the night goes on, the 3 of them chat and bond over dinner, but things take an unexpected turn when Gail and Zohan end up sleeping together, and Michael catches them. This incident might bring some awkwardness in the relationship between the 3 of them. Upon being caught, Zohan immediately approaches Michael and explains that the situation with his mother made her very happy. He then invites Michael to go out to a disco, but before they leave, he asks Michael for permission to sleep with his mother again. The two of them then head to a disco where Zohan gives Michael advice on how to be more confident and successful with women. However, Michael takes the advice a bit too far and ends up getting arrested by a security officer for being too forward with a woman. Despite his new appearance, Zohan is still recognized by his friend and loyal fan Yuri, who happens to be at the disco. Yuri is overjoyed to see him and initially believes that Zohan had died at the hands of Phantom. However, Zohan continues to deny that he is Zohan and insists that he is Scoopy Coco. Yuri, however, keeps calling him by his real name, so he drags Yuri to a quiet place to talk. Zohan then explains to Yuri that he faked his death in order to pursue his dream of becoming a professional hairstylist in the United States. Yuri, like Zohan's parents, assumes that Zohan is gay and offers him a job at his electronics store in Manhattan. Zohan becomes irritated by Yuri's words, similar to what his parents said, and remains determined to become a professional hairstylist in a famous salon. The next day, Zohan begins applying for jobs at different salons, but he is unable to find work because of his background as a soldier and his eccentric attitude. As time goes on, with no luck finding a job, Zohan reluctantly turns to Yuri for help and goes to work at his electronics store in Manhattan. However, Yuri tells him that many other immigrants like him have given up on their dreams and settled for working at his store, and Yuri refuses to let Zohan work there. Instead, Yuri suggests that Zohan should apply at Rafaela's salon, which is owned by a Palestinian woman, across from his store. Zohan, remembering his past conflicts with Palestinians, immediately refuses to work there. Yuri advises Zohan to adapt to the situation in Manhattan, where Israelis and Palestinians have shopped side by side, and to be open to new opportunities and experiences. Yuri, seeing Zohan's determination, shows him a video of his enemy Phantom, who has now successfully opened a hot dog restaurant chain in his country with hundreds of branches. Yuri encourages Zohan to pursue his dream of being a hairdresser, reminding him that he is a superhuman who is versatile. With newfound determination, Zohan approaches the owner of Rafaela's salon, Dahlia. Despite not having any formal hairstyling experience, he impresses her with his superhuman strength by doing push-ups without hands. However, Dahlia initially rejects him, but she sees his persistence and finally agrees to hire him as a hair sweeper. Zohan is thrilled with the opportunity and starts working at the salon, using Gail's hair as a practice model and learning hairstyling techniques from his co-worker, Claude. He works diligently, making sure not to leave a single strand of hair on the floor. He is confident that one day he will become a professional hairdresser, and this job is just the beginning of his journey. As luck would have it, one day one of the hairdressers at Dahlia's salon resigns, leaving only Claude to handle all the customers. With no other employees, Dahlia is forced to let Zohan style the customer's hair. Zohan, who has been waiting for this opportunity, is thrilled and excited to finally be able to show off his skills. He quickly styles the customer's hair and even manages to sleep with her. To everyone's surprise, since Zohan began working as a hairdresser, Dahlia's salon becomes increasingly popular and is suddenly crowded every day. Customers are even waiting in long lines outside the salon, with the majority of them being middle-aged women. They not only love Zohan's unique hairstyling skills but also the bonus of sleeping with him every time they finish their treatment. This also leads to Zohan receiving a lot of tip money, and thanks to his success, Dahlia is finally able to pay the rent on time. Zohan becomes famous for his hairstyling skills and is eventually approached by Paul Michel, who offers him a job. But Zohan declines the offer, stating that he wants to stay loyal to his current job at Rafaela's salon. One day, Salim finally sees Zohan working at Rafaela's salon and immediately recognizes him as the man he had fought with over a trivial matter and who had taken his goat. Salim then gathers his Arabic friends Nasi and Hamdi and plots to capture Zohan, with the intention of selling him back to Israel, believing that they will become heroes for doing so, as everyone thinks Zohan has died at the hands of Phantom. On a national holiday, Zohan takes a walk to the park with Dahlia. While preparing carpets and food for a picnic, Dahlia expresses her uneasiness about the ongoing conflict and disputes between Palestine and Israel. She expresses her belief that the conflict will never end and must be stopped. The next day, Salim takes the first steps to capture Zohan by telling Nasi to disguise himself as a customer at Rafaela's salon so they can intimidate Zohan. However, Nasi is impressed by Zohan's professional attitude and handling of customers. After work, Zohan goes home and tells Gail and Michael that he is having some difficulty with his genitals after spending time alone with Dahlia. Gail concludes that it could be because Dahlia is meant to be Zohan's mate. The next morning, Dahlia is met by two subordinates of the powerful businessman, Grand Walbridge, who continues to raise the cost of renting shop houses in an attempt to force Dahlia to close her salon so that Grand can turn the shop house complex into a luxury mall. However, thanks to Zohan's popularity and the constant flow of visitors to the salon, Dahlia is able to pay the rent and keep her salon open. Not long after, Zohan finally mustered the courage to express his feelings to Dahlia, despite his awkward way of speaking. One evening, while on patrol in his complex, Zohan sees three men vandalizing a shopfront. He quickly takes them down and discovers they were hired by a real estate developer named Grand, who wants to clear out the stores to build a mall. When his plan fails, Grand resorts to inciting violence between the Palestinian and Israeli shopkeepers in the complex in order to force them out. Zohan, who wants to maintain the peace, takes it upon himself to intervene and stop the violence. In the meantime, Salim, who is one of Zohan's Arabic friends, meets Phantom at his restaurant and informs him that Zohan is alive and working as a hairdresser in New York. At first, Phantom is skeptical, but upon seeing a photo sent by Salim, he becomes convinced. Determined to maintain his dignity, Phantom begins preparing to confront his rival in New York City. Meanwhile, Grand organizes a friendly mini-football match between the Israeli and Lebanese teams. Zohan receives 23 free tickets from Grand's representatives, which he intends to give to his friends. However, while distributing the tickets, Yuri shows him an article in a newspaper in which Zohan's true identity as an Israeli agent and his pseudonym, Scoopy Coco, are revealed. The article also states that Phantom and his subordinates are on their way to New York. After learning about the news, Zohan finally reveals his true identity to Michael and Gail. He is afraid that Dahlia will be angry when she finds out that he has lied about his identity. Gail advises him to be honest and tell Dahlia the truth. Unfortunately, when Zohan does, Dahlia is disappointed because she doesn't like war and Zohan's past as a terrorist hunter. She also warns him that their relationship won't work due to her background. Zohan is saddened by the thought of losing Dahlia, but he also has bigger problems to worry about, such as Phantom and his gang who are now in New York. As the day of the friendly match draws near, Zohan decides to face Phantom alone. However, Yuri has secretly called his friends to prepare weapons stored in an unusual place to secure the friendly match event from Phantom's attack. Finally, the day of the friendly match arrives and is attended by many spectators, including native Israelis and Palestinians who work in shops along the Manhattan area. Yuri and his friends are seen disguised in various parts of the arena and ready with their weapons. Grand makes a speech, mentioning that the match is a symbol of unity, and calls Mariah Carey to sing the national anthem of the United States. The match begins and the audience watches with great enthusiasm. Luckily, the match proceeds without incident, until Israel scores its first goal. At that moment, Phantom goes to see Mariah Carey in person, as he is her big fan. Zohan takes the opportunity to confront Phantom, and the two of them immediately prepare to fight. Just as Zohan is about to attack Phantom, Michael informs him through a video call that a group of unknown individuals has burned several shops outside. Zohan immediately smashes the window and rushes to the scene. The Palestinian and Israeli shopkeepers who were watching the match also come to see what was happening. However, since they don't know who the culprit is, they start blaming each other. Phantom arrives and tries to help put out the fire, but he gets caught in the middle of the chaos. Zohan helps extinguish the fire by using liquid animal excrement. Phantom is confused as to why Zohan is helping him and explains that he is tired of fighting. Zohan allows Phantom to beat him up and promises not to retaliate. But Phantom does not believe him and continues to attack Zohan. Finally, Dahlia comes and asks Phantom, who turns out to be her elder brother, to stop fighting. She reminds him to change like Zohan, who has let go of the conflicts in the Middle East, and she confesses her love for Zohan. They all reconcile, including Salim, who accepts the situation. It turns out, Zohan had been taking very good care of Salim's goat and it was still healthy. But just as they all come together, another explosion occurs in one of the shops and it is revealed that the mastermind behind it all is Grand. He wanted to drive them all away by inciting violence between them. Knowing this, Zohan and Phantom put aside their differences and work together to fight against the thugs hired by Grand. Phantom then tells Zohan that he too wants to leave the war and achieve his dream of becoming a shoe seller in America. They both realize that they have simple ideals and want to be far from the battlefield. Former Palestinian and Israeli rivals, Zohan and Phantom, have finally defeated Grand's thugs. Their actions are covered by TV stations and Grand, who watches the broadcast, immediately attempts to escape. However, one of the thugs grabs a bomb and threatens to blow it up, endangering 4 puppies as well. Zohan and Phantom quickly come up with a plan to use Zohan's ultrasonic sound powers to thwart the bomb. The sound of both of them piercing the ears and breaking the glass destroys the bomb timer and causes the thug to fly away. Grand, who doesn't want to be blamed, comes to the crime scene to explain himself but is immediately arrested by the police. Phantom, who is too happy with their victory, continues to shout and ends up blowing up several stores. In the end, the Manhattan Shophouse complex is improved and becomes more organized. Phantom opens a shoe store and Zohan returns Salim's goat, which Salim rents out to children to ride. Yuri also opens a much larger electronics store. The film ends with Zohan and Dahlia getting married and opening their own, much larger salon. Michael works as a hairdresser in their salon and they look very happy because they have reconciled and can pursue their dreams. Zohan's parents were finally able to accept their son's ideals as a professional hairdresser. The moral that can be learned from this movie is the importance of pursuing our dreams and passions, and the power of understanding, compassion, and friendship in overcoming cultural and personal differences. It highlights the importance of forgiveness and the ability to let go of past conflicts and grudges, encourages us to embrace our individuality, work towards our goals, and strive for unity and peace in the face of adversity.